Hello and welcome to this FreeNAS tutorial. Today I'm gonna show you how to build a pretty decent NAS staying on a 1000 euros budget. For this build we will use FreeNAS. FreeNAS is awesome. It's based on BSD, it's free and support ZFS or ZFS, how you want to say it. ZFS is an amazing file system created by Sun Microsystem in 2005. It supports 16 exabyte and it's self-healing, meaning that all data and metadata is verified using a user-selectable checksum algorithm. When a bad data block is detected, ZFS fetches the correct data from another redundant copy and repairs the bad data, replacing it with the correct data. FreeNAS is really full of features. If you are curious about all the amazing stuff that FreeNAS can do, please visit the official site www.freenas.org. Coming back to our build now. As you can see, I choose Supermicro. Why? Well, long story short, for use the magic healing capability that's included in ZFS, you must use ECC memory. Now that we decide to use ECC memory, we have two choices basically. Search for a normal gamer mainboard with ECC support or go for a server-graded mainboard. Another two important things in building a NAS is that, first, your server probably will run 24/7, so you won't choose hardware that is made to run 24/7. And trust me, normal hardware for gamer PC is not made to run 24/7. Second, FreeNAS worked best with Intel network cards, and even if, like me, many of you never had a problem using Realtek network cards, you must remember that Realtek is cheaper than Intel because Realtek implements some stuff in software instead to implement it in hardware. You can find more details about this on the web. I don't know if you saw the prices of a dual gigabit Intel adapter card, but I say to you, it's over 100 euros. So even if you decide to buy a cheap mainboard for gamers and add an Intel network card later, you will spend minimum 150 euros for both. I purchased this Supermicro X9 SCMFO mainboard on Amazon and I paid it 177 euro including delivery. It have on board dual gigabit Intel NIC, support for ECC, 4 SATA 2 and 2 SATA 3 connectors, EPMI that I will show to you later, and other really cool stuff. So even if you like to keep it cheap, trust me, go for a server mainboard and you'll love it. The case is the Supermicro SC731 and I paid it 90 euro including delivery. This case already includes a 300 watt power supply unit that is more than enough for us, so very good value for money. The processor, it's an Intel Pentium G2130. I paid it 56 euros including delivery. It supports ECC memory and it's a dual core 3.2 GHz. If you are not using iSCSI, you don't need a Xeon. What we will build here is a NAS with FTP and Samba support. And remember, Samba, it runs on one core, so what it matters is the frequency of the core and not the numbers of cores. For more information about the G2130, please visit www.intel.com. RAM is DDR3 UDIMM Kingston KVR 1333 D3E9SK2 16 GB. So we have two 8 GB modules. Remember, FreeNAS needs a lot of RAM if you are going to use ZFS. By the way, if you decide to run XFS or X3 or X4, you can run it with just 4 GB. So because we are building here a ZFS system, we will need plenty of RAM. Basically, you need approximately 6 GB of RAM plus 1 GB of RAM for each terabyte of raw space that you are going to use. So in my case, having 12 terabyte of overall capacity, I should have gone for a theoretical 18 GB of RAM, but I'm pretty confident that 16 GB will be enough for managing my music and my movies. After all, we are building a home or small office NAS. If you will ever decide to add an SSD using the FreeNAS caching features L2ARC, please remember to upgrade your NAM up to the maximum supported quantity by your mainboard first. In my case, my mainboard supports a maximum of 32 GB of memory. So now we have the case, 90 euros, the mainboard, 177 euros, CPU, 56 euros, and we have the RAM here with a strict price of 114 pounds. It's around 140 euros. So the overall price for all this NAS solution without disk, it's 463 euros. If you ever had the chance to see some prices around, you'll know that if you decide to buy a QNAP or a Synology, you'll pay in most cases the same amount of money for something that have an 8-on processor and 1 or maximum 2 GB of memory. Choosing to build our own NAS, we can replace easily the components if they break, and we are not limited to an operating system, but basically we can install what we want, from Windows Server to Linux to Unix. This mainboard supports a ton of different operating systems, including Windows 7. For a complete list, visit the site www.supermicro.org. Now let's talk about disk. Are you looking for something cheap and reliable? Go for this 3TB Seagate Constellation CS ST3000 NC002. They are built to work 24/7 and they cost €140 a piece. We will use 4 disks here for a total 12TB raw space with just €571. The overall price for our home-built NAS solution including disk is €1,040, and that's including the price of an 8GB USB sticks that we will use for FreeNAS. Okay, why we need to use an USB stick for FreeNAS? Because FreeNAS, it will end up using all the capacity of the disk where you install it on. So if we will install on one of these disks along with data, FreeNAS will take up to 3TB just for RAM. Okay, so now let me show you how to install FreeNAS on our USB stick. Let's open a browser and type www.freenas.org. We click the download button. No, thank you, let me download FreeNAS first. We click on the USB icon down here, okay, disk image, and we choose the 64-bit edition in order to be able to use more than 4GB of RAM. I will click download. Okay, start the download. Meanwhile that we wait, we open another tab at sourceforge.net /project/win32 disk imager, and we download. If you didn't still install it on your computer, take 7-zip. It can be found at www.7-zip.org. I will take the 64-bit edition. Okay. Now we are going to use 7-zip for extracting the image, the FreeNAS image, and we extract disk imager too. Okay. Now we are going to insert our USB stick. For the sake of tutorial, I'm going to use a 4GB USB stick. Here is it, F. Okay. Okay. Now we launch Win32 disk imager. We select our removable disk. It means our USB stick F. The device is F, and we select the FreeNAS uncompressed image here. Open. And we click on write. Here we are. Now it's finished. We can eject our USB stick. Now we just need to connect it on our mainboard using the USB internal header. Okay, now we just need to connect our power cord here. As you can see in the back of our mainboard, we have 3 Ethernet interfaces. 1, 2, and 3. Now we just need to connect a patch cord to this interface back to our switch or router, and use one of these 2 interfaces to provide internet connection to the server. If you will end up buying the same mainboard, you will see that FreeNAS actually it will give the name EM0 to this interface and EM1 to that one. Now that we connected our server to the network, we go back to our Windows 7 PC. We open a new tab with the address www.supermicro.com. We hit enter. We go on products, server management. IPMI utilities. We'll open a new page, Supermicro IPMI utilities. We click here, download software. We need to provide our name, family name, company name, and email address. After that, we will click here, I acknowledge the info is correct, and we will click submit. Okay, I put all the files that I downloaded from the site Supermicro in a folder named Supermicro, and I will extract all these 3 compressed files. Now I will go here where is write EPMI view, and I will click on EPMI view 20.bat. Now we have our EPMI view open, and we go on file and we click discover EPMI device. We will enter the subnet information, the net mask, and we will click on start. As you can see, even if the server is off, he will detect the EPMI interface. We will click on save, exit, we click on it. At the beginning, the login information is admin, and admin as login and password. Both they are case sensitive and they need to be typed in uppercase. And now I'm connected. Here you can see login. We have a tab where it's right event log, sensor, EPM device, where we can shut down, power up, power down, power cycle, and reset our machine. Here we can change the IPMI interface IP address. In a production environment, this address should be in a completely different subnet with no internet access. For our home environment, we can use the same subnet of our devices and eventually open the UDP port 623 on our router, redirecting the traffic on this IP in order to reach our IPMI features over the internet. Okay, the most interesting part is down here where we have KVM console, and we just click launch KVM console. We power up our server, clicking here, power up. We see the Supermicro logo, and then we enter in the BIOS or BIOS interface. So the most important change that we need to do at this moment is the boot option. We need to change boot option number 1 and choose our USB stick 2.0 with our FreeNAS, and boot option number 2 disable, and boot option number 3 also disable. Of course, we can change other parameters like system date, system time. We can see our hardware health configuration. Actually, I choose fan speed control mode optimal, and this server is very quiet. I mean, it's declared by Supermicro with 25 decibel. In full load, it only passes the 30 decibel. It's very quiet. Can be let in a living room or even in a bedroom. It's very quiet. Okay, I already configured my network interface EM0 with the IP address 192.168.1.30, and from now on all the configuration of FreeNAS will be done using a web browser.